everyone, this is the syllabus tour video for History 132 S03, and we're going to go over a bunch of the main points of the syllabus, the policies, the really major stuff that you need to pay attention to. I am not going to read every single word to you because this is not story time, but that being said, we're going to hit a lot of the really important stuff, so please make sure you watch this video in its entirety. So first of all, we are meeting virtually. It's the same kind of thing as if we were meeting in person, except we're going to be on our computers or devices instead of in the room together. So that means that you need to be at your device for class and attending class on time when we meet. Our meeting times are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 to 9:13 in the morning. Early, I know, but you know, get a lot done in the first part of the day, and we'll all have accomplished something by 9:30 in the morning. The last day to drop this course without a grade penalty, that is the last day to drop the course with a WD that does not harm your GPA in any way, is October 21st, 2020. My information, it's Amanda Zakanis. Zakanis is tricky to pronounce, and remember how to pronounce, I know. I've been married for over 7 years, and my father still can't say it right. So you can call me Miss Z, you can call me Miss Amanda, you can call me Amanda. Really, it's whatever you're comfortable with, as long as it's respectful. I don't mind if you use my first name. I have virtual office hours. All office hours will be virtual this semester, unless the situation dictates otherwise. Those are Monday and Wednesday from 11 to 12, and Tuesday and Thursday from 2 to 3:30. Under the My Instructor section and course information on Blackboard, you can see Skype links to the Monday, Wednesday, and the Tuesday, Thursday sessions. My office is located in STEAM, B124. I've included both my office phone number and my Google Voice phone number because I will not be on campus every day. I'll be on campus on Mondays and Wednesdays, but on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, I'll be working at my home office. So you can reach me there if it's a day that you can't reach me at my office phone number. Email is the best way to contact me outside of office hours. I respond within 24 hours. Usually it's less than that. But I do have kids, and they get up crazy early, and if I'm teaching 8 o'clock classes, I got to get up pretty early myself. So if you email me, let's say the first exam is due at 11:59 p.m. If you email me with an issue at 11 p.m., I'm not going to see that until the next day. So be mindful of that. So I do respond within 24 hours, oftentimes less than 24 hours. But, do keep an eye on the time when you send me an email. If it's late at night, you won't hear back from me until the next day. So we're talking about all kinds of different stuff in here. We're going to start at the end of the Civil War. I'm going to talk about the Civil War very briefly. But we're really starting with Reconstruction, which is the period after the Civil War. We're going all the way to 2008. I know that our textbook goes farther than that, but I'm one of those historians who doesn't think that things that happened in the last decade are really quite history yet. Like, we're still working on that stuff. We're still analyzing it, figuring it all out. So I stopped in 2008, and that's just what I do. So we have plenty to discuss though in that time period. So we definitely won't get bored or run out of things to talk about. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this is a synchronous online class. That means that we will be logged into Blackboard Collaborate all together for class meetings. They're Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 to 9:13 in the morning. If you are not in class for that, if you're not at that Collaborate meeting, that's an absence. That's not being in class. It's the same thing as a face-to-face. It's just that we're doing it virtually, to promote safety and all that good stuff. So please make sure that you are logged in at the start of class time and you are ready to go. We will be participating together virtually, so please don't think that you just get to log in and then not do anything. So you gotta show up, you gotta be ready. We're gonna ask and answer questions together. You guys are gonna probably work in small groups. I'll pop into each group creating discussion questions or working on a certain topic or activity. We'll talk about things together as a whole class. So all that kind of stuff. So you need to be prepared to participate and you need to be ready to be engaged and ready to go. All right, so things that you need to, or things that you will be able to do when you finish the class. So you're going to write an argument-driven, evidence-based essay analyzing significant historical developments, and you're going to use MLA for the in-text citations and works cited pages. Now you're going to write one essay like that. It's going to be course sources only. It's not a research paper. Your project is going to have a little bit of research to it. So don't make extra work for yourself by trying to turn that paper into a research paper, because it is not. You're going to use course sources only on that paper. And for the MLA formatting, I have a sheet called Writing Tips. It's featured in the Blackboard tour video. It goes over ways to strengthen your writing. Very valuable information. Please take a look at that. And also toward the end, it has a section on notation, how to cite for in-text citation, and for works cited pages. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. We're going to use primary source documents to read, think, and write historically. Primary source documents are things written at the time. So they're written by the people who lived through the events. Frederick Douglass, Carrie Chapman Catt, Martin Luther King Jr., Woodrow Wilson, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Jack Kennedy. I really could keep Malcolm X. I could just keep listing people. Tecumseh. Well, that's history. But still. So we're going to be reading all sorts of stuff by people who lived through the time period, and we're going to be talking about that, thinking through it, all that good stuff. We're going to practice critical thinking when we do that, which is not just accepting the information we're given, but we're going to use evidence-based arguments to challenge the arguments that we're given, because the Southern Manifesto, written by members of Congress about how damaging school integration, that is having white and black children go to school together, how bad that was for the South, because they'd always had good relations between whites and blacks, and this was going to mess it up. How true do you think that was, right? And that's a primary document that's written by 101 congressmen, Southern congressmen. But we know that that was not what was going on in the South. So we are going to use other evidence to talk about that, talk about the problems with that argument. So that's an example. We're going to use the 3 C's: change, continuity, and contingency. Change, of course, things are different. Continuity, things are the same. And contingency are these little moments in history where things could have gone one way and they went a totally different way instead. And there are a lot of those. And they usually occur and they become historically significant. And they're created out of the individual choices and actions of people like us. So I really like talking about those, because each of us is capable of, an action or a decision, that leads to these incredible moments in history. And I'm not going to read all of these because, you guys can read and everything. We are going to consider questions of race, class, gender, sexuality, region, ethnicity, and culture to evaluate the continuing struggles for equality and access in America. And your textbooks. So you've got 2 books. That's the package ISBN. Eric Foner, Give Me Liberty. That is the secondary source, the textbook. The secondary source is written by Eric Foner. It is he's a scholar. He's a historian. He put together a bunch of different primary source evidence and other secondary source evidence written by fellow scholars, and he made a narrative of American history. That's a secondary source written by a scholar. Voices of Freedom. That goes back to that primary source stuff I was talking about. This is a book full of primary sources. This is your primary document reader. So aside from short little baby introductions by Foner for each document, you will be reading all of these primary accounts from people who lived through the different time periods, and that is what Voices of Freedom is. So there are 2 books, a textbook, and a document reader. You will need an access code to set up the inquisitive activities and other supplemental learning tools that will be included in course assignments. So make sure that you get a book or a package ISBN for the books with an access code. There will be additional readings assigned by me on Blackboard. Not a whole lot, but every once in a while, the documents in Voices of Freedom, I tend to think that there's something missing or something that could be added to that conversation, so I do that. So it's not constant. There aren't extra readings every week or anything, but there are some occasionally. Technology, stable internet. You're really, really, really going to need stable internet. And in some cases, when you turn on a webcam, your internet is no longer stable. So, we can talk about that. If you have an internet access concern or issue, with your bandwidth and you think your webcam might harm that, you can contact me privately. I strongly encourage webcams if, that's possible, because we are going to be meeting twice a week and talking to each other, and it's really nice to be able to see and engage with everyone. But again, if you have a concern or issue with that, please contact me privately and we'll talk through it and figure it out. And again, you can also access Blackboard Collaborate through an app on your phone. So, if you're having to work or getting ready for work or something and you have to spend the last, 30 minutes or whatever, or the first 30 minutes of class on your phone through Blackboard Collaborate, you can still attend. You just need to be on there during our class times to be present. We have e-text. We chose these because the e-text costs less, and you have 3 days to opt out, which would mean that you would get a black and white loose leaf copy instead. You would still need an access code though, because you can't opt out of doing those assignments, right? So you would still need an access code, and that has to be done 3 calendar days from the start date of the course. So how do we explain the rise of a modern American nation? Between 1865 and the early 2000s, the United States emerged from shattered and divided disunion with weak claims to Western territories to become a diverse, powerful world empire. These changes were neither inevitable nor welcomed by all Americans. By paying attention to the voices of contemporaries, we will try to answer a series of perplexing questions in American history. What does freedom mean? Who is an American? And what is the proper relationship between individuals and government? So we're going to look at different meanings of citizenship, because that definition has changed a lot over time. The expanding power of the government in the economy and daily life. We're going to look at all kinds of different stuff. So we start in the aftermath of the Civil War and we end in full-fledged globalization, marking the end of an era and the beginning of another. And now you're like, okay, Amanda, that's cool, right? Okay, but how are you going to grade us? Well, 20% of your grade is participation. And that is mostly going to be in-class stuff. We have some inquisitive activities and other tutorials and things through the through the textbook software that you'll need to do that will count toward participation. But the bulk of your participation, like it says, those meetings will involve discussion. So you need to take an active role in class. Like I said, you guys might get broken into groups to analyze a document, come up with something to talk about, or present a particular reading to the class and its significance. So all of those things are participation grades, and that goes toward that 20%. You have 3 exams. They're multiple choice, true, false, and identification. They are going to be a total of 40% of your grade. The dates are right there. And exam 1 is worth 10%, and it says it will take place in class. That's a big fat lie. Just hold on a second. So exam 1 is worth 10%. I like to do that to make it work a little bit less, because some of you may have never taken a test with me. You might not know what an identification answer is. Don't worry. I've got a video, I've got a study guide, I've got an example. We will go over it in class as well. You will be prepared before that first exam, but you may still be nervous or concerned. So I like to have that first one count for a little bit less. Exams 2 and 3 are each worth 15%, because by then you are familiar with the format and you know what to expect. The other 40% of your grade is going to be 2 major assignments. And the first one is a paper, the paper I mentioned earlier. It's 3 to 5 pages, and it's an argumentative essay based on course readings addressing major themes in the course. So it will count for 20% of your grade. Papers are going to be due September 24th. I know the calendar. So they're going to be due September 24th. They're going to be submitted on Blackboard. And then the other major assignment is a project of your choice. You will get to either design your own historical monument or memorial, or you'll conduct an oral history interview. The projects are up under the week that they're due. There are videos already made that have me going over the instructions in detail, so please take a look at those. Also, about a month before the projects are due, I will go over them. We'll talk about them in class. We will also have a project workshop to work on it. So, because you are going to need weeks to work on that. It's not, you can't, it's due, I think, week 14. You can't come into week 13 like, okay, I'm going to start my project now, because it will not go well. So I'm going to set you up by talking about it at least a month out. All of the instructions and videos going over those instructions are already up on Blackboard, so you can start thinking about it even now if you want, or you can wait a few weeks into the semester and start thinking about it. But that is all available to you. The projects are due November 13th, and then that following week and a half or so, we'll do presentations of the projects. And the primary focus will be the quality of the content. Did you answer the question or follow the prompt? Did you do the assignment? Did you support your answer or argument with the proper evidence from class readings? Or, if you're doing the project, if it's the project, did you use the sources that you were instructed to use? Like the types of sources. Formatting and mechanics are important, but they will play a smaller role. And then each assignment has its own specific directions. I will make every effort to return tests and papers within 2 weeks and discussion boards within 1 week. I will provide comments to you using the feedback options in Blackboard. So, like for papers, for example, I comment directly on those. I Scribble Scrabble, and I also have little typed comments on the paper itself. And then there's a broader feedback to learner section that has broader feedback as well. I don't ever want a student to walk away not knowing why they got the grade they got. So I try to make sure that all feedback is very detailed. And of course, after reading feedback, if you have questions or concerns, please let me know and we can go over it together. I can share the screen with you. We can talk through everything. So please know that I always want everything, my feedback to be clear, and I want it to be understood. So if there is any sort of issue with clarity, or you're not sure about something after reading the feedback, please feel free to contact me and we can talk it through. Late work. So, late work is not accepted for full credit without a documented excuse. This can be a doctor's note, a death in the family, a medical emergency, something emergent or urgent that pulls you away and makes it so that you are unable to complete the assignment by the deadline. I forgot or I overslept is not a documented excuse, right? So it has to be something that, was urgent or emergent. So major assignments like papers and projects must be turned in on time. Late submissions of those will be deducted 5 points for each day. That's not class day, that's day. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that they are late. Tests can be made up with a documented excuse, but late test submissions will not be possible. Otherwise, they close and they disappear at the deadline. In-class participation assignments cannot be made up. You're either here or you're not. And that's not me trying to be mean. That's just how it is. Now, if you have a documented excuse because you couldn't be in class on a particular day or time, I can exempt the participation grade, which means it won't count against you, but I can't give you points back for that because you weren't there, if that makes sense. Once it's reached past 2 weeks past due, I will not take it because at that point it's too far gone, especially, think about those major assignments, losing 5 points every day. Those are the only things that I accept late early, as you can see in the policy. So, think about that, 5 points for 14 days. That's going to be really rough anyway. So, I do not accept those 2 weeks past due. Plus, I have to be able to get grades turned around and all that kind of stuff and keep things going on time. Writing assignments, and I don't know why this is this, you guys. I'm telling you guys. There you go. It's all fixed. Fixed. MLA. We're going to use MLA in here. I would love to use Chicago, but I am not allowed. If you want to explore using Chicago style to write your papers, I will totally provide you with resources and be happy to let you do that. It's footnotes. They're beautiful, and they're the best citation method in the world. So if you want to do that, that's absolutely fine. And for the tests and the papers, don't use stuff from the internet. You're using stuff from class. Cite your evidence. We're doing parenthetical citations. In fact, in the Blackboard tour video, you will see there's a writing tips sheet that shows you exactly how to cite all of our stuff from class in a works cited page, and also parenthetically like you would for like an identification answer, and parenthetically in your papers as well. So please be sure to check that out. I'll give you a brief look at it during the Blackboard tour. And there's a citation builder if you need it. We are going to have one extra credit opportunity that is open the entire semester. You can do it whenever you want. It's a short little discussion board. So So that is there for you. You can do it whenever you want. It's open August to December. And it's not due until early December, that last week of class. So, okay, grades are on a 10-point scale. I think you probably already knew that. Critical success strategies. Check your email daily. I check my email daily. You should too, right? So that's going to be the best way that I get in touch with you outside of class. You know, if we have to move something, I'll always move something away from us. I'll never be like, that thing that was due next week, it's due this week now, because I don't hate you, right? So if I need to move something a day or two away from us, I will, and I'll let you know. I'll send a Blackboard announcement that will also go out as an email. I'll also do that for days like when your test is due. I'll say, hey, you know, this friendly reminder, exam 1 is due by 11:59 p.m. tonight, or, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, please check your email regularly, because that is where you will get the communication from me that is outside of class. We're going to move quickly. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. So many things. In fact, I think we spent 3 weeks on 1 decade, or 2 decades. So, and we do that more than once. So please make sure that you are reading, keeping up with that reading schedule. That again, we go over that in the Blackboard tour video as well, and you need to mark that reviewed in the first week, just like you need to mark this reviewed. So keep up with that schedule. Make sure that you are working and engaging with the course every week. Make sure you're attending class as often as you are able. And then, of course, during class time, the best use of your time is going to be participating. I do provide lecture outlines. Those have keywords and discussion questions. You do not have to turn those in. Those are for you. They're for note-taking purposes only. So you do not have to submit those. I will tell you that the study guide is a list of keywords. So everything on the exam study guides comes from the keywords in the lecture outlines. So, you know, you need to know the who, what, when, where, and so what for all of the keywords that appear on the study guides. I would suggest, you know, it might be a good idea to, you know, maybe copy and paste the keywords from the lecture outlines onto a blank Word document and type through that as I'm lecturing in class, or as we're talking through stuff, or as you're watching lecture videos, depending on which mode of instruction and how we want the class to be structured. So those are not required. They are just for you. My favorite thing to say, the success of this class will be largely determined by your participation. Okay? We each bring different experiences and skills to the class, and some will be more familiar with the literature or speak more often than others. Our goal is a supportive environment and lively give and take. Now, you do need to speak and participate, right? But, you know, it might be someone speaks, you know, 4 or 5 times and someone speaks twice. It just really depends on your comfort level with the material and what our topic is and what you want to talk about. But the idea is that we have mass engagement across the class. We're all participating and we're all talking with one another. We are going to use Blackboard Collaborate. Again, you're going to need some technical skill. We're going to be at our screens in class for 75 minutes twice each week. Then you'll need some additional screen time to complete assignments on Blackboard. Disagreement is an important part of intellectual discussion, and arguing out issues is critical to a college education. Therefore, you should expect to disagree with the ideas or opinions of others, especially in your discussion sections, like if I break you guys into groups and we're talking about something. Please always disagree in a respectful manner. Treat others as you would like to be treated. Use respectful language to refer to groups, individuals, and fellow students. Please, please, please follow that one. That's really important. You know, we're talking about a lot of hot topics. We're talking about racism and sexism and labor issues and all kinds of things that are really relevant, politics. I mean, all things that are really relevant to today. So it's very easy for people to get a little heated about things. And it's okay to disagree, but we're going to do it in a respectful manner. We're going to disagree with evidence-based responses. We're not just going to pull opinions out of the air and say, well, yeah. So we are going to, you know, some of the best conversations come from disagreement, but we're going to do that respectfully. Plagiarism and cheating will not be tolerated. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Please, please, please don't do it. It makes me so mad. I get infuriated. And the reason why it makes me so angry is because you are all so much better than that. Like, so much better than that. And you're all smart. And you're all capable of great things. And just to see that waste with plagiarism and cheating, it's very frustrating. So, you're doing yourself such a disservice by doing that. So please don't do that. Also, you will receive a 0 on the assignment and be reported. So really don't do it. There is a handout in our Blackboard shell, and I'll reference it on our Blackboard tour video, called Is This Plagiarism? Check that out. If you're not sure what constitutes cheating or plagiarism, check that handout out. And if you have any questions after that, please feel free to ask me, and I'd be happy to answer. Attendance policy. I don't know why I'm singing. Let's see. So we're going to do attendance when we meet on Blackboard Collaborate. I'll probably do a poll every day that's like, are you here? Yes or no? And whether you hit yes or no, doesn't matter. You'll be counted as there because you'll be saying that you'll be, doing something. Now, I am able to see when people leave, so don't say yes and then leave and you've only attended 30 seconds of class. That's going to be an absence. So please make sure you're in class, and I will be taking attendance. You can miss 2 weeks of class. I do not recommend it because, like I said, we cover a lot in here. Now, if something crazy happens or you have an emergency and you have to miss a lot of class, please communicate with me if you can. Please let me know what's going on. I will do my best to help you remain successful. If you miss over that 2 weeks, unfortunately, because of our policy, I do have to drop you. But if you've been in touch with me, if you've been getting, things in just maybe a little bit later, or if we've come up with a plan to work through things and you are passing the course at the time that you're dropped, I will reinstate you. So we can talk through that. So I know that this is a crazy, crazy, crazy semester with everything going on, and I can't break policies, but I can bend them every so often within reason. So I know none of this is normal, and I will work with you as best I can if there is an issue that requires you to miss class or something, an emergency or something that happened. So please, like I said, communication is going to be super duper important, especially this semester. So please let me know if there is something going on, and I'll do my best to help you. CCP students, I don't think you guys are having any class trips or anything, so I don't think that you need to worry about this, but those do not count as excused absences at JCC. Religious observance policy, we do have a form for that if you need to miss class for a religious reason. I just need that form 2 weeks prior to the date of the absence, and you'll be able to make up everything that you miss. Student concerns, we have a faculty first policy here at JCC. I like to call it the We Are All Adults policy. If there is an issue, and some of my feedback to you or communication with you is going to be via text, typed text, right? Just the same as you with me, right? And we're going to be talking about all kinds of different stuff. Tone is not often conveyed properly, even verbally, but especially over written text. If I say something or do something in class that upsets you or offends you in some way, please, 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 please feel and know that you can talk to me about that. Just like if we're having a discussion and you say something that is, the tone comes off as maybe offensive or cold or, unreceptive or something, I'll contact you and I'll say, hey, in class when you said this, it kind of came across this way, and, we'll clear it up. And it's fine, right? We're all human beings. We all, make mistakes in our communication. We all miscommunicate, misspeak. That does happen. So if that happens with me, please, please, please feel like you can come to me and talk to me about it. And if I am in the wrong, I will apologize because I'm a human person, right? And I make mistakes. Just like if we have a situation and it's the reverse and you're in the wrong, I would hope that, you would apologize too. So that's just, I expect that of you. You can expect that of me. If the issue is so big that you feel like you can't come to me about it, which hopefully that won't happen, but if you do feel that way, there is a chart here of people that you can contact. So, start here. But hopefully you won't need that. but it is there for you if you do need that. So that, my friends, is the syllabus. If you have any questions after reviewing this, please let me know. Remember to mark it reviewed by Friday at 11:59 p.m. Because we definitely want to make sure that you know what's going on in the class. And I did this as a video so that we don't have to spend 30 plus minutes on it in class. We can just kind of dive right into everything and be ready to go. So that said, if you have any questions after checking this out, please feel free to contact me, and also be sure that you look at the Blackboard tour video as well and mark that reviewed too.